Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hope you all doing well. We got Lynn here tonight. We got, of course, the Max. I'm the king of technical difficulties. So my computer, I had the hotspot on, everything's set up, and then last minute, the sound starts messing up. I was on the Wi-Fi at the hotel, and it starts lagging. So then I do a hotspot, and then I get everybody on there. Then the audio starts cutting in and out. So it's just, but we're on, guys. So we're gonna make it happen. We're good to go. So
I'm in the big boy seat tonight.
Yes, she's at the helm, and I'm on the road, guys. So gonna have to bear with us, but we got a lot to talk about tonight, guys, and it's really, really important stuff because you guys saw my community post, and yes, my Nana is who it was, my Nana. Now, everybody knows that, I'm sure people in the chat have Nanas, right? Some people have grandmas, some people have Nanas, some people have Mimis. It's a generic term. So for 2 investigations, I was hearing Nana, Mama, and Nana. So my father must be with her. But anyways, I got her first name. That's what made me go and Google her name and the obituary. And I found her obituary. She had passed 5 days prior to me editing the footage. It was only 3 days afterwards where we did the investigation. And then afterwards, you guys have not seen this video yet. This video is very significant that I'm going to be putting out next, guys, for several reasons. Okay. First off, it starts out when we come back to the cemetery at night. The first significant thing that happens is as we're pulling in, we're walking into the cemetery, and you hear somebody fire off a rifle in the distance. Boom! And you hear, and from right next to us, the spirit box is not running yet. And you hear pow, boom, pow. You hear a very loud EVP right next to us, like they're walking with us. Okay, that's the first significant thing. Well, there's a few things. Secondly, every family that we addressed at that cemetery came through, side by side. They all came through. My family came through. A young man who has been requested to come through by a friend of mine's son. Doesn't matter who, but this friend of mine, we've been talking about this, and this is a special person that a friend of mine and her son, we're very close to. Without me doing the session, asking for him to come through, he came through. Now you're gonna like, how is that possible? Well, because guys, they know everything. They hear everything. They see everything. If you guys have noticed, many times on my video, they say questions as I'm saying it simultaneously, or they'll say it before I say it, to prove that they can read your mind. They know, like, to prove that, guys, that I'm going to do a session, and I'm going to what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to give you guys the list of questions. You guys were already going to have the questions. I'm going to put them in my community. Me and Tab already talked about this. Lynn, you tell me what you think about this. So we're going to put the questions in my community post, and I'm going to go on the spirit box, and I'm going to go question 1, and I'm going to think the question, and I'm going to wait for the responses to come through. I am willing to bet money that they will answer me just like I'm speaking out loud. Would you agree, Lynn?
Absolutely.
It's
good seeing you too, hon. Sorry,
Hey, Mod 148, Snurk, Rabbit, Lisa, Drazo, Betty Boo, Star. Let's see. I saw Jules in here. Jen and Barrett, Lisa Ann. Hey, Jules, how you doing? A lot of people here tonight. Hey, Code, what's up, brother? Thank you, everybody, for dropping by. Please smash that like button. Now, so we've lost people, friends on YouTube. A lot, we know that there's been a few people in both communities that have passed away since in the last couple of years. And then a lot of us, of course, have lost loved ones over the period of a couple of years where we've all been around each other. So anybody that's still really grieving, like what I wanted to do, what I set out to do originally was to prove that one, life continues on, that it doesn't just, it doesn't get turned off like a light switch when your body dies. Okay. A lot of people believe that. That's just not true. Okay. Simply not true. And you can actually back that up with science, because it's very simple. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It only changes form. So right away you can shoot that down. But guys, we're getting sentences now, full sentences. Cody and Ernest Prickett, you've seen Meet the Pricketts coming soon. I don't mean to be a motor mouth. I'm sorry. We're going to get it. I'm just trying to catch you guys up with everything. And then I want to really discuss the meat and potatoes. And the meat and potatoes, guys, is heaven. That's the topic for tonight. Heaven. Is there a heaven? What is heaven? Where are these people? Am I speaking to these people? Are they in heaven? That's the question. And they gave me the answers. They are not shy to tell you the answers. And it's guys, I got to tell you, like, I'm so blown away. Views, arguing with people on this don't matter, guys. It's just so not important. Just the fact that my Nana came through. And then, of course, I reached out to that side of the family who did not reach out to us. Like, we were kind of estranged somewhat. And I spooked them. Because they didn't expect to hear from me. And the way that this happened, it's, you can't. It was very hard for me to wrap my mind around it. Very hard. And it was very emotional. I knew when I heard it's Nana and I heard a certain name, I knew when I Googled, guys, I knew as I was typing the name in, I knew what I was going to find, guys. Like I just wanted validation, but I knew it. So I asked him, is there a heaven? I get several yeses. And I asked, are you guys in heaven? So you tell me what you think, Lynn, if I'm a little bit wrong. I think some of the stuff we've been fed, guys, floating on a white cloud, string, strumming the harp, stuff like that. That's a little bit of a fictional portrayal of heaven. Okay, that's just like the stereotypical what you think of, right? What I know is that our energy continues. I'm talking to, okay, here's what I've learned, guys. First, Steve-O's with me. Those voices I heard, the POW and in the car. Okay, I didn't even finish. See, I get so sidetracked. So we had these people come through. Then I go back the next day after we kind of left because the energy was so crazy. I pull into the cemetery and it's like a horseshoe. I got to drive through and I'm saying, hey guys, I'm back. You'll see the video. Hey guys, I'm back. We were here last night. We kind of left in a hurry. But we're going to keep coming back until we get the answers that we're looking for. Of course, I had not edited the stuff yet. I already had the answers. But I say, we're going to keep coming back till we get the answers. And it sounds like somebody sitting next to me in the car says, come back. Just like that. I think it was Steve, but it literally sounds like a man in the car with me. There's nobody in the car with me. That was a solo mission that day. She was at work and I wanted to go back out because the energy was crazy there, but it was not the energy when we ran out of the Bethel churchyard where the spirit ran up on Tab and then it ran up on me, and then it's like on your neck, and it's like, you know what I mean? You can feel that. Wasn't that, guys? It was, but you'll see. I uncovered when I say, how many spirits are here? It goes 7, 8, 12, 25, 47. So it keeps going up. We were literally circled up, and I was circled up by the Tottens were there. Now you all know they're from the Pioneer Cemetery. They show up, they come with me. Now, so the question is, do I have like 50 spirits that we carry around with us? I don't think so, guys. I don't think so. I think they are in heaven. They can come through wherever, whenever. Now, my relative passed in another state, guys. We're talking 1,000 miles away. And they came through. You know, it's so. I think they're in heaven. Now, where is Steve-O? That's the question. Well, if they're in heaven and you're talking to them, but I'm also talking to Steve-O, but he's kind of like he's got work to do. He's trying to get there. What's the difference, Lynn? Now I'm out of my depth and I'm into your field. So now I'm going to turn it over to you. So
Okay, well, Steve-O is at peace. Do I feel Steve-O has made it to the other side just yet? No, I don't. That I don't. However, there is a heaven. Basically, your body is a shell. It does not matter where you are. They're going to come through. You can be in East Egypt and they're still going to come through. Does not matter. It doesn't mean, yes, you can go to different cemeteries. They're not following you. As long as they know that you can hear them, they're going to come through. Doesn't matter where you are.
And this is why I believe this, guys. So just like I just mentioned physics, where energy cannot be created or destroyed.
No.
Some people have the ability to tap into that energy. Lynn is one of those people. Christina is one of those people. Some of y'all in the chat are one of those people. Now, do I feel energies? Did I know before Googling that I was going to find what I was going to find? Yes. I don't claim to be psychic. I just know from doing this so much, when I know the feeling when I'm gonna get evidence. I can feel the difference. You can feel the energy. I can feel Steve-O with me. I can. It's. I know what y'all are thinking, and I'm telling you, like I was talking to a friend of mine because I'm up in Detroit, and I was up here with an old fishing buddy that I actually was in a rehab program with. And I was explaining to him about Steve-O, and right away he gets spooked. But let's see, measurement of space. What spirits have told me is there no measurement? Well, if there's no measurement of space and time, but there is memory, though. That's the thing.
There's memory, but there is no time. That I can tell you for a fact is a spirit knows no time.
Because they're not bound to an organic body. They're the infinite energy. So if they're infinite energy, then they wouldn't be bound to the clock because they're infinite and they're in that raw state, that raw form of energy, which is what we are, guys. That's what we are. Like it or not, that's what we are.
A shell.
Yep.
Thank you, Seth.
Yep, there he is. There's the man himself. And that's interesting, guys, because now, Sweaty, we guys know that there's been messages come through for her. Lisa Wigger as well. Now, if you listen to, I think it's the one I just put out, Promont, you hear two things. Empress. You hear two things that they say, Sessa. Okay, so you hear his name twice, and you get a word after each time you hear his name. The first one is Sessa Obatso, which is if you're in New York and you hear slang Italian, you're going to hear ubats, okay? But the derivative of that word is obatso. That's how you pronounce it. It's Obatso, obatso. And that's what it said, sessa, obatso. And then later on, it says sessa, fasto, which is happy in Italian. So you have that. You have, and Sessa was known back in the day for being a bit crazy, a bit of a firecracker. I mean, we all know that, you know, he was part of that life way back in the day, and he's now a redeemed man. He's not that man. He's a totally different person, but he still has that reputation even in the spirit world. So now I got the fact that they're speaking Italian, to me says that that's one of his family members. Now they're coming through because they know that we're friends. We've met in person. We've been together in person. But there's a few of us on here that have not met in person. But you all still get messages through me because our energies are connected. We are literally corresponding in the chat. But that's my mind to your mind, my energy to your energy. That's all the connection they need. In fact,
Lisa, we'll make sure that you get my information, honey, before the end of the live.
yes. Actually, it's in my community, but I will get it to you. You know, I can get that to you. No problem. It's in my community. It's, what the heck is it? The Gmail. There's a Gmail. What's your Gmail?
It's highstrung71@yahoo.com.
There you guys go. highstrung71@yahoo.com.
All
And
lowercase.
reach out, guys. I'm telling you.
Yes, absolutely.
Reach out. She is amazing. Like, if you don't know the background, my brother that passed away, y'all know I lost a brother to an accidental fentanyl.
That's how we met.
That's how we met.
Yeah.
Because my brother showed up a day before Sessa. He texted her, "Call me, sweetheart." That was the next day after my brother visited. And he visited her and her son and some more family members. So it's
in the exact hotel that I was staying at is where his brother passed in a totally different state.
Yep.
Yep.
I had no clue that she was staying where she was staying. No, I didn't even know she was in Florida, guys. I had no clue, none whatsoever. No clue. So, like, for that to happen, guys, that, you know, here's another interesting thing. I think there's a reason for this. I don't know what it is yet. Could be nothing. Could be coincidence. But I came up here and I went to get, so I met up with my buddy. We hung out for a little bit and I went to get a hotel a little bit closer than the one I originally picked. I picked a Holiday Inn Express. So I went to go to one closer. So I went there. They wouldn't take my card. I went to the next one. They're booked up. I went to the next one. They were booked up. So I went. So basically, then I'm like, I'm where I'm at. I'm looking for something. The next closest one. The first one that I had looked up was the closest one. So I ended up back at the same hotel that I actually looked up originally, and that's all by chance. I mean, sometimes, guys, you're guided. They guide you, and you know you don't even realize it, but you're being guided. Things are, the way I look at things is just so differently now. It's amazing. But here's another thing. It's really cool what I'm doing, guys, but I got to tell you, I'm overrun, guys, with spirits. Overrun to where we have more than just Steve follow me home sometimes. Now, they don't always stay and keep being persistent, but I always have people that have boundary issues. And it's very hard. It's very hard. We've smudged a couple of times. We've done other things. We have our sage spray bottle. Now, I don't think we have any more negatives, but
No.
the house
No,
has become
you don't.
like romper room, guys. It's like romper room in my house. You can hear people walking up and down the steps, which is bizarre because that's never happened before. What I see looking down the hall from my bedroom, the hallways the light is on. It's totally lit up. But what I see, so if you're walking down the hallway and you have a body, you're a living person, and just the light from the ceiling is enough to cast just a little shadow on the carpet of a person. And you see a little black shadow moving, you know, as somebody walks down the hallway. I see that, but there's nobody there. I see the shadow of somebody, but there's nobody there. That gets a little unnerving when I see it come up by the door and stop, and then it just disappears. Like that has happened several times in the last week. There was a point I was gone one night. My wife was watching TV in our bedroom. All of a sudden, she had this foreboding feeling, and she could this negative energy just radiating from the doorway, the door frame, and she's like, come on, please, really, you're gonna, this is my space, you know. And it left just like that. But sometimes you have to say, hey, you got to back up, you got to back up, you know.
You have to be firm when you set your boundaries.
It's hard to do, guys, because think about this now. Think about it if it was you. And I tried to think about it this way. So let's take Samuel Totten, for instance. He passed in 1839. He comes through all the time. You're going to see him. He comes through so clearly. You're going to hear his first and last name. He says it very clearly. I throw up an overlay so you can see his name as part of the Totten lineage. I just freaking forgot what the hell I was. Where was I going with that, Tab? You there? She must have walked away from it. I forget where I was going. But anyways, I don't know. That's all the campus.
Yeah, she put it up there. Thank you, Tabby.
Thank you. Hey, Tab, did you hear what I was just talking about?
Sorry, no, I went to the restroom.
Okay. It just seemed like since the covered bridge video, I haven't been shook. You've been shook since then. I understand that, Sweaty. Believe me, I get it. Every time, it's like to be honest, guys, every investigation we do gets more and more emotional, more and more intense for me. This box here, this SB7 Pro, for a while, I thought that the other one does get a lot of stuff. I had no idea the amount of stuff this one gave me that night. And you can hear, sometimes it's not real loud, but you can elevate it and you can hear long sentences like Cody and Ernest. They're buried side by side. They're Prickets. And so you hear, I say, Cody, are you with Ernest? And you hear Cody and Ernest. Cody, are you a Pricket? Yes, I am. You can hear it very clearly. They're answering me like I'm speaking to a person living right there. That shakes me to my core every time, guys. I mean, I never would have thought that this, first off, was possible. Secondly, that I would be doing it and getting this amount of evidence. And I totally, not completely, but I somewhat attribute a lot of it. I attribute it to Steve-O, because I hear things like next, speak clearly, one at a time. These things he repeats, I hear it. That's him telling them. And when I hear one of those words, sometimes it breaks up. You catch part of it. Then you hear the names coming in, you know, back to back, but they're no longer overlapping. He helps out tremendously. And you know what? At first I thought, yeah, he may be doing that. It was a maybe. But now, like, this stuff has been like so redundantly proven beyond the shadow of a doubt. Like, it's so, like, when you go to a cemetery, I don't know what it is about. Maybe you're opening up the doorway by doing the spirit box, but it seems like now everywhere I go, everywhere I've been, families I've encountered, the Tottens, I guarantee you the Prickets are now going to come through other places, the Togs, the Stites, many of the families that we've encountered come through still, no matter where we are. Is that going to keep happening?
I want to ask Lynn a question about that. Earlier, you were, John was saying how they follow us, and you said, well, they don't have to follow you. So is it right to assume like even when they're coming through the box, they don't have to be right there, or no,
they are not. And that's the thing is, once they know that you can hear them, they're going to come through the box. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're right there next to you. Steve-O, yes, he definitely is.
Next to me. Yes.
Yes, he's always next to you. As a matter of fact, he's next to you now. He's standing right behind your shoulder. But they'll come through anywhere. Again, you can be in East Egypt, you can be in the middle, you can be anywhere in the world with this spirit box, and they're still going to come through.
That makes sense, and that makes me feel better also.
Let me ask this then. But so let's just say, like, let's use Steve-O for an example. Okay. So he's with me now. Okay. Mm-hmm. So now I know one thing, he was on a visit. That was said. Steve-O is something about a visit. Then later in the video, Steve-O, welcome back. He left. Wherever he went, I don't know. He went to visit somebody. So he's not stuck with me. It's not like he has to be with me. Like he can leave, come and go. He chooses to be here. But like what my question is, what if you have a spirit that what case, I'll use this for instance, the Loveland Castle. This certain gentleman built this castle himself. It looks like a medieval castle. I think it was like late 1800s into the like 1950s. That's when this thing was built and finished and added onto. So he literally put blood, sweat, and tears, his own energy and his soul into building that. So when he passes, he could choose just to stay there. Now, if somebody wants to like address him and they're somewhere else, would he still be able to hear that if he chooses just to stay there? But he can still hear it, because like I've seen, this is where I'm hung up a little bit, because I've watched the Dead Files, and you have Steve DeShavi. He's an ex New York homicide detective. And then you have this nut job, Amy, who's the psychic. No offense to psychics, but she says,
no, we're all a bit nuts. I'm gonna put that out there.
But she's like, some of these people, she's like, you got to move. They're not going to leave. And I feel like, well, how do you do that? I mean, like, and I believe that some spirits, like if they want to stay somewhere, there's nothing you can do about it. Think about this.
No, there's not, because what happens is some spirits are attached to certain things. That's what keeps them from moving about anywhere else, is they're attached to things. A physical item, a home,
that's
a
it then. So it's the attachment that is what does it. That's what keeps them bound to a certain area.
Right.
Okay.
Now, if you take, and here's the thing, say, okay, I have my coffee cup right here. If there's something attached to this coffee cup, it's going to stay with me. If I take this coffee cup and I move it to an apartment or a townhouse 5 rows down, the attachment is going with the cup.
Okay. That makes sense to me. Thank you. Who was it that just said that? I'm very sorry to hear that, Kate.
Totally miss.
Flower Child. JM, this is your forte. You seem energized with this type of content. I wish I could hear from him. You can hear from her. You absolutely can hear from her. Like I can tell you that Lynn can give you a reading. If you want to hear from her, Lynn can give you a reading. Because I can tell you wholeheartedly, without hesitation, She's the one who told me it was Steve-O that was with me. Nope, it's the kid from there. Not from the unknown section. He's the kid from there, you know, and he passed by this. And this
Yes,
number is
Flower.
associated with him.
Send me an email, honey. Sorry, John, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
you're good.
Drop me an email and I will schedule you and give you what you need, honey.
Yes. Don't
Absolutely.
hesitate. Do
Yeah,
not
please don't
hesitate, guys.
hesitate to reach out, guys.
Yeah. I think that there's been a few people that have, you know, been coming to the chat and, you know, gotten a little bit of a reading just because their loved ones showed up, because they showed up in the chat and there was a channel for them to come through, being Lynn. You know, like if I was running the spirit box, guys, don't think for a second that your loved ones wouldn't be coming through and chiming in. They would be. The problem is I could do that. We can actually do that one time, guys, if you want to. Then you can have a record of exactly what the raw footage sounds like. And then I will record it as well from an alternate device. And then I'll go in and I'll edit it the way I edit it. And I'll put the words up and you guys will be able to tell, oh, wow, that's the raw footage. I hear it, you know, because I know I can tell you one thing. Some of this stuff is so unbelievably clear and on point. It almost seems unbelievably fake, but it's not. It's not. And I can't even impress that enough, guys, that how crazy that this stuff is. Like once you realize, sometimes you got to experience it for yourself, guys. That's all I'm saying. I'm a skeptic by nature. And I'm very, very hard-headed and hard to convince. You're not going to sell me on some bullshit, guys. You're not going to do it. Okay. I don't just take somebody's word for it. I've never been one of those people. I have to see proof. You got to prove it to me. I got to see something real, something tangible that I can observe. Oh.
What happened? Sorry, guys. My grandbaby wants his nana. He's crying.
Oh, no. You're good.
What happened?
So, guys, it's amazing.
Okay.
You're going to really enjoy
how
this one
much
coming up.
a reading costs from Lynn. A lot of people are asking in the comments.
I usually don't charge, honey.
So I guess gratuity
It
is
means
optional,
more
guys, but
to me
appreciate it.
to help somebody than it is to collect a penny to help somebody.
Yep. And that's the thing, y'all.
Thank you, Pat, because I can't see the writing.
This is on the
No
last
problem,
block
Lynn.
through when he then came through to yes, Lisa, and that's the thing. I believe that he's going to keep coming through because there's a way that they can come through. Like for instance, the young man that came through, and it was for somebody else that's been and this young man, his friend in the living world, the physical world, has been waiting and patiently for me to do this session. You know, I've been trying to get, you know, to where the box is a little bit clearer. I'm a little more dialed in, and I was going to do a session just for that, but he came through already. He came through, you know, like sometimes they don't want. In fact, he was called up to the plate. He was called up. They called his name. They said they're
First
waiting
and
for
last
you.
name was given.
First name,
Yes.
last name, they're waiting for you. And he came up and said his piece and said his name. And you can clearly hear his voice.
And he gave a little bit of something that only the young man would know.
Yes.
To validate it was him.
Yep. Kind of like my Nana said, kiddo, sweetheart, kiddo, always called me kiddo. Now, that's another generic term, but when you're getting them all in a row, boom, 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 and she keeps repeating it.
Well, I told John that I was hearing Nana a couple of times in our sessions, like loud and clear before he even edited it. But I kind of was like, I didn't call my grandma Nana, so I just figured like it's someone's Nana, somebody who liked to go by Nana, you know.
Sure.
And that's kind of what I chalked it up to be at first, obviously, until he got the other messages and then Googled it. I think we're both amazed every single day at the stuff that comes through the box. It's life changing. I don't know. That's the only way I can describe it is, you know,
life changing, surreal, overwhelming, powerful, emotional, all of those combined into one. And it's like, boom, it hits you with a punch that's so hard. Like when we left that night session, we walked to the car and we drove. It's like a 27-minute drive. That's the length to home. We for like 20 minutes didn't say a word. We were speechless. The energy was that powerful.
It was just a different like feeling. I don't know. I always tell John, and I don't know, Lynn, how you feel about this, but I do feel like I could read people pretty well, like a lot, like energy wise, like my energy, my personal energy, I feel is just kind of, I don't know. I'm like a very lax person, like almost to a fault. And I think I've said before, people like to just tell me their life stories, like random people. So most of the time I really enjoy being out there and just talking to people. I realize now that we really don't have to go to the cemeteries, but we do enjoy doing it that way. We seem to just pick up the families that are there, and it just kind of validates things for our, you know, I think for our YouTube channel, if we're standing there and we say a name, you know, by the headstone that says the name, and then they say it. Yeah, I think that's like just validation, really. Like it's been more than validated, like to us recently. I just feel like though sometimes somebody way earlier in the chat said that you got to set boundaries, and I know that Lynn has told John that several times.
That's
if
where
I
lost
had
my
a dime for every time I told John that, I'd be a millionaire, I think, by now.
Trust me, Lynn, I know that ditto on a lot of other things. But
absolutely.
We do try to be safe, you know, when we go. And I know that you say that we should set some boundaries. Absolutely. But sometimes I'll just be standing there and I don't know if I just get overwhelmed with the energy, because that's what I really felt like happened this very last session that we did when his Nana came through. It was when it comes out, there's even a part where someone says Tab is distracted, believe it or not. And you can tell that I'm distracted. Focus. The whole, like, I'm looking behind me, not from just what I hear, what I feel. Like I could feel just in it, like it was like really heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then it blocked out the light, guys. That's why we left. You'll see in the editing. So she says, she stops me and she says, I can't see. I don't like this. What happened was so our camera froze up, the brand new night vision camera, because the energy was like overload and they fried it. First night, guys. So when we're shooting with my cell phone. So it's at night. So the light from the cell phone is on. There's a light on. The flashlight is on. So that completely got blacked out. Like it went pitch black for her. It stood in between her and the camera and completely blacked out all the light. And it startled her. I didn't know that. She was standing behind me at an angle.
That it was like I like look away, because I see like not like little individual shadow figures or anything like people say on TV. I just seen this big black blob, like a ball of energy or something. I don't really know what it was. It really wasn't glowing. It was just a big black spot. And then when I could see it out by the road, and by the time I turned around to tell John that I'm starting to feel uncomfortable, it was in front of me and I couldn't see like my hand in front of my face. And then I was like, okay, I'm ready to go.
But you know, nothing
like
negative.
John didn't hesitate.
But here's the weird part, guys. Now Lynn and I had a long conversation, you know, after about the cemetery we were run up on. And there's some real negative folks in there that don't want us in there because of the people we met there. But this energy was very, very intense. Like somebody says, does it scare us? Doesn't, not so much scare me. It gets hard to deal with sometimes because the energy, like all your hair standing on end, it's like the air is electrified. And it can be very unnerving, especially when you get shit like scare them, bite them, stab them,
Scratch them,
die.
stab them. No, honey, you don't have to speak out loud for anybody to hear you. Your
Nope.
loved ones or anybody that you're trying to contact, all you have to do is think. They already know what's in your mind. So, no, you
Yes.
don't have to speak out loud.
The question that you have in your mind, they already got that. They have already received that transmission.
And they
And
already know what's going to come about well before we do.
I was going to say, you could see that a lot on some of our recordings. Like, if you really pay attention, a lot of the times right before John says things, or even myself, it'll give a little blip and then he'll say it. And we won't even know. We don't hear that until we like go home and edit the footage. So I was, the question was for Lynn, but I was going to say, oh, I already know the answer to that because I've seen it firsthand. So,
You know,
Well, honey, anytime, just jump
weather.
in. But guys, the message is so small, I can barely read. Can somebody help me with Empress, what she said?
Loving you,
oh
Lynn.
yes, she
Go ahead, Tep.
says, loving you, Lynn, 100. I was always taught not to charge to share my gifts. Bless you. And then
Well,
draws a,
here's the thing. Charging, then it's not a gift. If you have a gift, you're here to help people, not to
Yep.
how is it? If you want to charge, part of my expression, if you want to pay for bullshit, that's what you're going to get is bullshit.
Yep.
A real reader will not charge. At least I don't. That's my thing.
And she's awesome, guys. Awesome. You know, she's, I mean, I can say it. I can't say it. Look, I'll give you a couple of examples. First off, I sent a picture of my brother. I heard the expression and the response of her children when they saw the picture. Secondly, she told me who Steve-O was and everything about him. I got validation when I got the crash report from the police. Next, I saw a shadow figure on my back porch. Didn't tell her that till we were getting ready we were trying to practice StreamYard for a live, the one that got postponed, but it was the night before. She sees a shadow behind me. She says, "You got a visitor." I said, "Oh yeah, it's probably Steve." She's like, "No, it's not Steve. That's not Steve."
I gave you the name of your visitor.
Yes, and that's it. She told me his name was Ray. Do you know a Ray or a Raymond? And I'm going to give you another validation, Lynn. You also asked me about Dallas, and he came through recently too on one of my things. So
right, because I saw Texas. I was being shown Texas, Dallas, Texas.
his name is Dallas, guys. He did come through. But Ray, the next day, I said, I'm going to give you a spirit box session. It was supposed to be earlier that day. I wasn't feeling well. It kind of got delayed. Come 9:00 p.m., I hear he literally, I don't know how they do it because their energy, but he knocked on my back door. I heard it audibly, could hear a knock. And I called my wife because she was on the way. I was like, well, he's getting impatient. So we start the spirit box. You guys can go look. It's Spirits Came Knocking at the Back Door is the title. As soon as I turn that spirit box on, Ray, if you're here, please come through. Raymond, he says, Raymond, right away. So like, now just think about that for a second. Let's just say that's a coincidence. So let's just say she took a wild guess. What are the odds of that name coming through like that?
See, now I do want to address one thing, actually, because of the knocking, and I've told you this, but I do want
Yes.
it to be known. Anybody that hears knocking at a door, if you hear somebody knocking at your door and you look out that door and do not see anybody, do not open that door because you don't know who or what is knocking. And if you're opening that door,
Mhm.
you're inviting them in.
So here's two things. I remembered why I lost my train of thought. I was saying, like, Samuel Totten passed in 1839, and I truly believe that the Tottens and all, I'm the first person to ever speak to them to have an avenue that they can come through. You know, I'm the first person to come up in that cemetery with a spirit box and start addressing them as a person being there right now.
The
So
Tottens are my family, buddy.
we like the Tottens, guys. We really dig the Tottens.
There's a connection somewhere, and
There
I'm
is.
gonna tap in and find out where that connection is. Um, Jen, honey, trust me, I know those sideways looks. If you do what I do and you're walking around town and whatever, yeah, they come about. I get looks sometimes too. People want to think I'm crazy. Hey, Sarah, it is what it is.
Let's see. Lisa says, oh,
Oh,
Ray
sorry.
was trying to soften Tab up. He was trying to convince Tab he was safe. Yes, he said, I'm safe or something like that.
Mhm.
That seems to be the big message that everybody has to say. I'm safe. I've gotten that from multiple people. That seems to be the main message, that they're okay. We're good. But
That's because a lot of times the family members or friends or whoever often wonder, I
are they
wonder if
okay?
they're okay. I wonder where they are. Are they happy? Are they healthy? Are
Yep.
they? Yes, they are. The moment your soul leaves your body, regardless of how you pass, the moment your soul leaves your body, you are healthy, you are happy, you are safe.
So does that make that your heaven at that point? Like, you know how sometimes I'll hear people say, I need to help someone cross over. You know, I'm assuming, like, I don't really know. I feel like it's made a few more questions for me as far as that goes, as far as, you know, I don't believe in the clouds and all those things,
No.
that, like John was saying earlier, but I feel like, I don't know, you always hear that all their ailments are gone and they're happy and they're no longer in pain, which when someone is suffering, that is definitely what you want to know.
Right.
So it feels good to know that. But once you cross, is that their heaven, or why is there still sometimes they'll say have to help send them to the light or help them cross over? Can you explain how that works, Lynn,
Because
or how?
some people when they pass, there are often times where people are not aware that they have passed or they were not ready to pass.
So they don't let go. So they have to,
Yeah,
like,
they weren't ready to let go. They weren't ready to stop living yet.
Okay.
They feel sometimes that there's something unfinished that they have to finish.
but and so with the Samuel, so where I was going with Samuel Totten passing in 1839. Now, if you were, say you had a message, because we get some Tottens that ask for help. We get a lot of people that asked for help. They say, Johnny, need help. You'll hear that too on this video. So it's been what, almost 200 years. Now you got this guy. He shows up where your body's buried. He's addressing you. He can hear you, and you have a message. Would you not follow that person home? I would. I would.
But they don't have to. Some do, some do, some don't.
It's interesting. It is interesting because I have gotten another example of, so I asked Steve-O the other day, I left a digital audio recorder running downstairs on record. Okay. No spirit box. And I said, okay, Steve, because the white noise makes it kind of hard to extract specific information. So, all right, I need to know which family member to reach out to. Secondly, I need to know how to reach out to them. So if you know a phone number and you can't say it as like 555-6789, you know what I mean? If you can't do it like that, then do one number at a time. Just say the name of the person and come in and say 5. Come back and say 5. One at a time, and I'll write them down and I'll string them together. We'll get it done. He came through, but it was so subtle. I amplified it. I still couldn't catch it. So I've caught him before. So it depends on how much energy they have, I guess, at the time. I guess they deplete it when they try to come through. But
Yes, Flower, they do. Sorry, John. I'm trying to keep up with the
Yes.
questions and I don't want to leave anybody unanswered. Yes, they do know what's going on with their loved ones that are still in the physical world.
Here's some more news, guys. So Negative Nelly, that I've nicknamed Negative Nelly. Okay. She has been identified. She's not a demon. You know, like everybody wants to go.
Don't say her name. You don't want to summon her.
No. I'm not going to say her name. Her name was said. It was told to me. I then looked up the name. I found the person. They have a connection to people, to my wife's family and her in-laws. So there is a life connection. Secondly, this person, if you notice, you heard racist sister. She's a very, very racist person. She hates white people. She cannot stand the fact that my wife and I are in an interracial marriage. She hates it. And and you all know I'm not a bad person. I'm a good person with a good heart. I'm not an evil person. She knows that. Doesn't matter. No. It does not matter to her. She will never be okay with me as a white person. Now, there are people that hold on to hate like that when they pass. But so she got told, I said, who is that person? They said the person threatening. So since that person's been identified, they ain't come through. No more repetitive
she got
bullshit. Busted. She got busted out, guys. She got snitched on.
Here's a question from Lisa. It says, so when we get to the other, will we remember learning all this? I know we'll have a connection, but will we remember how we became connected?
Yes. Yes.
It's unbelievable, the stuff that these spirits know and the stuff that they say and do. Unbelievable, guys. Like it's basically, we are like, we're like thumb drives, kind of zip drives, and we're not plugged into the computer. If we're plugged into the computer, you know, like then we can access all that information and whatnot, and take information and give information and send information back and forth. We're in a human body. We're kind of like, I think for some people, I think basically what happens is when you are born, you get kind of like a reboot button, and it just wipes your memory. You basically, the memory of your body, your soul still has all those memories, I think. But all these things that I thought, like, because I watched the Ghost Adventures episode where they were doing the spirit box in the Galka house, and you know, his daughter's coming through, and it's on her birthday, and she's coming. She says, hi, miss you, love you all. And you know, I saw that, and that was the episode that made me want to buy a spirit box. So I did. And when I first started using it, I didn't get nothing like that. But I got to tell you, like, it's crazy. I get so much more than that. I get overrun. But so if anybody's like really missing your loved ones and stuff, just know they're like at an arm's reach from you. They're right there. They see everything. They know everything. I can't impress that upon you all enough. These are the things that I wanted to know. These are the answers that people have always been trying to get. They want to get over that wall, right? To take a peek at the other side, that what's over that wall. You know what I mean? Instead of climbing the wall, we just poked a little hole through it, just so we can whisper to the other side and get answers. That's pretty much what we did. But they are not shy to answer the stuff you need. Yes, there is a heaven, and your loved ones do come through. Now, Lynn, there is a difference though, right? What's the difference between spirit box and doing readings as a psychic? I think there's a rule where you're kind of blocked from like having direct contact with loved ones, right? Where the spirit box,
with the spirit box, usually majority of the time. Now, I know as a reader, I cannot read for family. I cannot connect, or I can speak to my family members on the other side, but I cannot hear them speak back.
okay.
I cannot do a reading for my daughter, for my son, whatever, my aunt, my grandmother, whoever. I can't read for family. Usually with a spirit box, family does not come through. Like your family, and you know, when you and I spoke the other day and you told me that Nana came through, I was a little floored at the fact that she came through to let you know, because usually they don't.
It was a gift, y'all.
They're not allowed to. It's considered like a taboo type thing.
It was a gift, guys. It was a gift. It was a gift. And she was letting me know. You know, she says, I love him. Sweetheart, kiddo, it's Nana. That's the messages I'm getting, guys. Like, you'll see.
Yeah.
You'll see, y'all. You'll see.
And I was floored on that. And yes, I do want to address Ice's question real quick. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's 21 years or 100 years.
Yes.
A baby, not a baby. Yes, it can still communicate with them.
Sorry, Kathy.
And then
really.
there was a gentleman right before her that said that had made a comment that once his mom passed, he started finding himself wanting to do good things and, you know, making amends with certain people. It gives you an eye opener when a loved one does pass. It makes you realize that life is too short and too precious. Not only that, but after my dad passed, I found myself doing the same thing. And the things that I would do to help or do good things was to keep them proud of who I was and who they raised, and to basically, it gives a good name for your family. It gives your family a good name to say, hey, that's my child. And they will work from the other side to help you do that.
That was Drazo who said that, and he was saying that he feels like he's being, you know, guided, you know.
He is being guided because his mom, she doesn't want him to have that hatred. Don't have that hatred, that negativeness. It's not worth it.
You know,
it's not worth it.
Sorry about that, Lynn.
You're fine, honey.
I do things like, and I do think that like this would make my mom proud, or this would make my grandmother proud. You know, I do things with thinking about them. You know what they're thinking of.
Absolutely. I still do it. My mom's gone 15 years, you know, and some of the things of, you know, even if I think about it, I'd be like, if my mother was here right now, she'd smack me upside my head and say, what the hell's the matter with you? I didn't raise you to be like that.
Yeah, I'm realizing that's where some expressions come from. Like I've said to my kids, oh my goodness, your grandmother would roll over in her grave. Like that, those types of expressions you hear throughout the years, you know.
I tell my oldest son does some stupid shit. And John, you and I have actually talked about this. Yep. And, you know, I would tell my oldest son, how proud of you do you think your grandfather would be? Because he was so close to my dad. I said, your grandfather would not be proud of your behavior and the way that you speak, the things that you do. You need to remember where you came from. And it's true.
Legacy, guys. You guys have heard me mention that a
Absolutely.
ton. Legacy, legacy, legacy. And what have you guys heard? That 909. It was what I think it was Vixie that sent me that. Was it Vixie? Anyways, 909 is a number that refers to personal development of the spiritual growth and things like that. And I am really, really trying very hard now to be, when I encounter people, be calm, be polite, be pleasant, smile, try to be a positive force. Yeah, I struggle with that, guys. It's not the easiest thing for me. Some people it comes real easy. It's not so easy for me. You know, it's just I've been conditioned to just be, and this is where Steve and I have a little bit of a commonality with some just things we've dealt with in childhood, and we've got used to being like on our own, you know what I mean? Independent and not wanting to deal with anybody.
Independent target.
Just be away, you know, because being around meant you get insulted and beaten down. So I've been conditioned to kind of like be alone. So I'm kind of like trying to recondition myself to be a little bit different, to be nicer and more open and more positive. And I'm doing good. I did great today. I was just talking to Tab about that, how well I've done today with that. And I've been tested a few times, but since I've been able to realize that these people, all of our loved ones and all these people, they see and hear and know all this, it kind of makes you think twice about what you say, what you do, who you insult, how much you apologize, who you apologize to.
Well, also, too, you got to keep in mind is being kind is free, and you never know what another human being is going through. Walking down the street, you look at somebody, they could be the most miserable person you've ever seen in your life, but you never know what that smile can do for them.
Yep.
So it pays, actually, yeah, it does. It pays to be kind, be nice, smile, say hello. Whether it's reciprocated or not, it doesn't matter. You did the best you could, but you never know. That smile could have saved somebody's life. You don't
And it's
know.
contagious.
Yes.
Kindness and happiness is contagious. You ever heard somebody laughing hysterically, and before you know it, you're kind of laughing? Because it's the same effect.
Yeah.
Same effect. You know,
Yep.
so it's like, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a positive force? Do you want to be a negative force? I've done so much shit in my life I'm ashamed of and wish I wouldn't have done, negative shit, that I got a lot of balancing to do. And I'm okay with that. But
if you didn't do that, you wouldn't be who you are today.
I said that.
That's true.
I said that.
Yep. You wouldn't be who you are today.
We just had
And that defines us on who we are as human beings.
That's what I said. That is what shaped you. And actually that really kind of leads into like some of the things I've been reading in the chat. There's several people sharing some very sad losses in the chat. So I just want to tell everyone, that I appreciate everybody being so vulnerable and sharing some really sad stories in the chat. But it kind of, I don't know, John and I just had a very lengthy chat about that, and that it's like, even coming from a nursing perspective, it is so much better for your health to not hold on to all that like negativity. Like John's blood pressure goes through the roof when he's upset about something. Like when he goes from 0 to 10, his blood pressure will be crazy high. And it's like one of those, another saying, like, I'm like, you are going to drop dead of a heart attack one day, like literally all because you get so angry over the smallest things.
Stupid
Am
stuff.
I right, John? Like, I don't want to, like,
Well, that's the thing. like when I think about the stuff that I get worked up about, it's meaningless shit. But for some reason, like my buttons get pushed. So I have to like consciously try to recondition myself for a healthier lifestyle. I've already lost the weight, which helps with the blood pressure. But, you know, like think I just want to be around to obviously to be there for my family. But this journey, it's a pleasure though to share it with you guys, to have my wife, partner in life, be my partner in this venture is really cool, guys, because it's what's more important than family. And it's really cool to be able to share it with you guys, because this really is you have to drop your walls. You know, when you talk to these spirits, they know every intimate detail about you. They know what things to exploit, if to scare you. um so it's you got to have like a mental preparedness for this. And you know, and I wasn't there. I wasn't ready for that. Like it's and I'm still not. I'm still working on that. But yeah, like it's I was a little taken aback, caught off guard with the intensity, and I didn't realize just how much they can influence my emotions. My they put Once I realized it was them putting me on the roller coaster ride, I was able to get off the ride.
Yep.
I'm
That's
going to
it.
read this question for Lynn, I think. It
Yeah,
says,
because I'm struggling to see.
I have an odd question. This is for Boomer Babe 66. If a person had an abortion and is remorseful of doing so, do you know how that works, and how do our souls react to that? It's a very good question. I have a friend who's wondering the same thing, actually.
Okay, basically, you're always going to be remorseful, but I don't know. This one's a tough one to answer. Um, you're always going to be remorseful, regardless of what. Your souls will connect on the other side. Um, they don't. They don't hold it against you. It's not the right time for them to be here, so they don't hold it against you. But you will connect on the other side with that child.
I
And
was
they
gonna
could come back to you, right? I think we
Yes,
asked
they
this
can.
question about a friend for a friend
Okay,
last time.
so here's the thing. Yes, they can come back to you. Now I'm going to share a personal story. My daughter lost twins 10 years ago. She had a miscarriage in her second trimester, two little boys she had. My grandson now, and John, you can tell if I'm lying or not because I sent you a picture.
I know about this. This is a crazy story, guys, and truth, and a real one. So like
And a real one. And I can send John the pictures and he can post them for everybody to see. At Christmas, my grandbabies were playing by the Christmas tree, being silly. We're taking pictures. In the picture on the wall behind my grandson and his little friend is a picture of a little boy with a kitty cat. And that little boy looks exactly like my grandson. So now the thing is, I personally believe that one of the twins came back and the other did not. And I believe my youngest grandson is one of them twins. But these pictures, it's, I'm not going to say creepy, but a little scary at the how much they look alike. And my grandson's asking for a cat.
it's that's I mean, there's no coincidences, guys. It's the way that things just happen. It's just, you have to understand, our little tiny peanut human minds really have trouble comprehending how everything works and infinite space and time. And picture in your head infinite space. You can't do it. You cannot picture infinity. You can't.
No.
It's impossible for our brain to. I mean, you can understand the concept, but you can't picture it. But we're part of that, so it's.
Yep.
You know, it's. I'm getting. I have a feeling that you know, more and more of people's families are going to come through. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I got Cessa's coming through.
That's you know how to get a hold of me.
Yep. Yep. And guys, don't hesitate to reach out. Really.
No,
Like,
please don't hesitate.
sometimes, you know, the you having that desire or that thought, ooh, there's a question I want to ask, you know, that's them saying, yeah, reach out, get a reading. I'd like to talk to you. You know, that they like to interact
Absolutely.
too. They enjoy it. Like I get that a lot. You know, Steve enjoys when I speak to him and when we interact. He enjoys it. He tells me. You know, he said it. He's like, friends, bud, you know, happy, like Steve's happy, things like that. I've caught those things. So like they enjoy it. They like to, when we think about them and remember them and really speak to them, and they can speak back. You know, you just have to, you know, get to somebody that can hear it, or, you know, hear it through a spirit box. But they are certainly there. They certainly know what's going on. It's crazy, guys. It's really what I've observed. It's really been hard for me as such a stone cold skeptic to wrap my brain around it. Because don't forget, I think I've mentioned this before, I was from grades like 3 to 8, and then from 9 to half of my sophomore year, I was in Catholic school. So, you know, Catholics don't believe in ghosts. Okay. There's angels and there's demons, you know, so I was already pre-programmed, even though I believed in ghosts anyway. I just knew that everything's a mixture of both. Like we have multiple religions, like, and a lot of them have like reincarnation. You take a lot of this stuff and you put it all together, and I think it's a combination of all of that, little pieces of this and that really is the truth. And we'll all find out, guys. One day we'll all know.
Draza wants to know, Lynn, is it possible for you to connect to someone now? Her name is Heather Daniels from Liverpool, New York.
Heather.
It would be if I stopped and just tuned everybody out. I could do it for a full on reading. But at the moment, unless she actually comes through with a quick message to give you, I'm not during the live. I cannot during the live do a full on reading. That's something that, I mean, I can give little answers here and there, and yes, but I like to do, when I do a full on reading, I like it to be just one on one in confidence
And
confidentiality.
the one time that you know, there was people that were really trying to get some messages across the last time, you know, it's
Right.
you know, but now, like, I think
We're not having much of that tonight, though.
no, I mean, and I think they know that there's a way. So now they
Yeah.
all know there's a way. So if you all want to reach out, there's a way, guys, and they can either come through, and I'm putting that out there right now, so they can all hear that. They're all welcome to come through my spirit box and give a message anytime. They're welcome. You know, I'm sure Lynn would be happy to give readings too, guys, and she's amazing.
Absolutely. But I like to do confidentiality because
It gets intimate.
you know,
It gets intimate.
private and what's the word I'm looking for? I'm like losing my words here.
Well, sometimes
It's
some of the
private.
stuff that they say, some of the things that the spirits say to validate are intimate things that you may or
Thank you.
may not want to
Intimate.
share.
That's the word that I was looking for. Is they'll come through with only things that you know, and sometimes those readings get really deep, and I just don't want the whole internet knowing your business or her business or any of that. So I like to keep them private.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
I
did,
mean,
he said he understood.
yeah. Yeah.
Deborah Ross said, "We
dog.
just laid my mother to rest today. Is there anything from her?" Very sorry to hear that, Deborah.
Oh, really
Oh,
sorry.
I'm
Oh,
sorry for
hey,
your loss, honey.
hey, Lynn,
Yeah.
what was that name we just heard? What was her name? Who was that, Tab? Who was it that
Who
just
that asked that question?
Deborah?
Yeah.
There's your Deborah, Lynn.
Yep, there she
There's
is.
Deborah. We've been waiting for you, Deborah. You need to reach out to Lynn.
Yes, definitely. Because I've been
Deborah.
asking for a month now, who's Deborah? Who's Deborah?
There it is.
Text your father, tell him I'm in the process of doing a live show, please, because he's blowing me up.
Any messages from me? Yeah, see, it's
She needed to hear. Okay, so real quick, this is going to go back to Deborah real quick. She needed to hear it was okay to go. She needed the approval from family that it was okay for her to go. That was her way of knowing that you guys are going to be okay here in the physical world.
yeah. That I see, guys. I knew that was gonna pop up eventually. I've been waiting. See, I've been looking for headstones with the name Deborah associated for. There it is. That's what that you are that's the one. That's it. That's the Deborah you've been waiting for. I know it.
Yes.
That's it. Wow. Again, guys.
As soon as I saw your excitement and you were like, that's it, Tab, I knew, I had a feeling it was the name that you and Lynn had talked about.
I think we all just, John, I think you and I just stopped and looked like, holy shit, we got her.
Written down. I jot this stuff down sometimes because there's a couple of questions that I need to ask for some people that that have heard some things on my sessions, but also when a name pops up and there's a message for that name or that name's popping up, like Dallas took a month to come through. A month. She asked me, "Do you know what Dallas?" I don't know what Dallas. He came through a month.
And I kept saying it, and it was something that they would not let me let go of.
I'm going to figure it out
every time. And the same with Deborah.
Wow. That's yes, Drazo. See, remember I was asking you about the Deborah. I was trying to figure out where the Deborah fit in because there's a message for Deborah and I knew that. So and that's the whole freaking meaning that the reason we're doing this is to help people, guys. That's all I care about now. That's what I'm going to do for the rest of my time on this earth is do what I can to help people living and past. And I love it, man. I love it. This is what
I love what I do too. Helping people, giving closure or whatever. It's amazing being able to do this. Okay, so I do have to say, because I am hearing something in my ear, this is, I don't know who it's for, but I'm getting a male, something with the stomach, and they're making me feel like stomach cancer. Can anybody validate that? And our name.
And our name. There you go, guys.
Our name. I want to say, but it's not coming in clear, the name, but I want to say it's either Russ or Russell. Does Russ or Russell belong to anybody?
Not me.
Bingo.
Oh, there's another one. Is that Sandy? Are you the one that just asked any messages for me? Wow.
I think it might be for Potato.
Wow. Holy shit. Yep, there you go. Okay, so the pain that was here in the physical world is no longer there. They are comfortable. They are at peace. I don't know if his mom is on the other side or not, but he's making me feel like a mother figure came for him.
Wow. See? Wow. Guys, it's she does these people. She can talk to them, guys. I was very skeptical about psychics for a very long time.
I am, and I am one.
Because there are people that out there that are dishonest, guys. There
Right.
are, be honest. And the people have been scamming people since the dawn of times, right? The dawn of the ages, right? So but when something organically crazy like this happens, you can tell, you know what I mean, that there's no hustle involved. That's the cool part when it organically takes place.
Sorry,
Here
John,
is
I
even
don't mean
more
to cut you
validation.
off, but he's making me feel like you said something for him to come through. He says he heard you.
There you go.
He said he heard you.
Crazy, isn't it, guys? I mean, it really is. And I talked about this. I don't know if I talked about this on the live. So, and I don't know why this is still happening to me, but it happened to me the other day. I'm coming out of a sleep, and I start having a panic attack about dying. Like a real bad, where like my heart's pounding, I can't breathe. And those used to be really, really bad for me. Before I had this knowledge. Now I have this knowledge, and it's like, why am I getting these intense panic attacks? I don't know. But everybody should know, though, like it does continue. Life continues on. It's so crazy.
It does.
I love
and
it.
you will get those panic attacks. And I've told you this, and this is for anybody that just out of nowhere, you will get, with all the energy that is surrounding you, you are going
And that's
the
what I wanted to know.
overwhelmingness from it or somebody's energy. You will pick that up, and that will cause that.
It was,
Earlier.
I woke, I literally was like, had trouble kind of like pulling it together. Like it was,
Yeah.
it was a bad one. And those have not happened in years. I mean, I'm that bad. We're talking 20 years that since I've had
Well,
one.
I think that was when you had 48 of them coming at you at once.
Was it that?
Yeah, it was that night.
It was that night.
Yes.
There you go, guys. It was that night. It was that night. And it was the day before, 2 days before, a day or two before that. And we had went there during the day. So it's just meeting more people and more people.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like you have to get used to the energy, guys, especially when I edit. Whatever spirits are around and listening and waiting to come through, it's like as soon as I start playing even the recording of the spirit box, it feels like the room fills up with people.
It does. Try that. Welcome to my world, John. Try walking into a grocery store or a room full of people, and you got everybody heckling in your ear, and you're looking around at everybody saying, yep, you got this one here, and or you can see them standing next to their loved ones, just kind of mingling, going, oh shit.
Yeah, it's very overwhelming.
Yes.
Near death. See, I had a near-death experience, guys, back in, I'm gonna say 2003, I think 2003, guys. I think it was 2003. I went to a rehab, guys. Back in this time, I was a heroin addict, guys. I was doing heroin, and I got out of a rehab, and my system was clean. I hadn't had anything in my system for like 45 days. I went down with my brother, who is now passed, and another friend who I haven't heard from in many, many years. But we went to a little trap house where a friend of mine lived in, and I did less than half of what I normally would have done, and I fell out. I went blue, stopped breathing. My brother, who's now passed, held me up, got behind me, put his arms underneath mine, held me up while my friend Clyde, who was a medic in Vietnam, did the precardial thump on my chest and started my heart again. Now, I don't, uh-oh. All right, there we go. Now, I don't remember anything from that incident. To me, it was like a complete, you know what it was like? It was like anesthesia. It was like when you get put to sleep, then
Just
you
the
wake
absence of time.
and it's just yes, no, just lost time. Nothing there, just nothingness. That's what I experienced. That contributed to anxiety attacks like you would not believe. I know that's not the case now, but yeah, that was my near-death experience, and it wasn't a pleasant one.
I'm curious then to ask Sandy. She says, because that's what got you on the topic, that she had two near-death experiences, and that we continue in life there is more clear than this one. It feels more real, is what, you know, is what Sandy is saying her experience, you know, her near-death experiences were.
I hear that a lot from other NDEs that I watch on YouTube, their testimonies, and a lot of them
it's a validation of what we were speaking about earlier as well.
Yeah. You know, John was saying he had anxiety from that, like his near-death experience. And I was wondering if Sandy, if it gave her some peace, like hers seems like the very opposite of his. His was like the absence of time and gave him anxiety, and hers was, you know,
different
seems
lifestyle.
Like, okay.
It's a different lifestyle. Hers was more peaceful than yours was because of your lifestyle.
Yes.
And the things that you were doing. So your experience is going to be a lot different than what hers was.
It's I don't live that lifestyle anymore, guys, and I know you all
No,
know
you
that,
don't.
obviously, but
Right.
it's that I don't even remember like what it's like to live that life. I'm so far removed from that type of lifestyle. But
That was darkness, yeah.
That was my experience, guys. I mean, it was like anesthesia, and then like all of a sudden I'm back. Like they turned, like the light switch was cut off, time was turned off, and then flip, you're back, and time starts again. That's the and that really played with my mind. So it's very it is reassuring for me. It is, but of course the unknown is still gonna like play with people's minds, of course.
Right.
And everybody's looked in the mirror and wondered if there really is an afterlife and things like that. Like those are the things
Yes,
that
there
people
is.
want to know. So
yes, there is.
and there
Somebody
is.
had before. See, I can't see where. He said, "Okay, I have a question."
It was Shannon.
Go ahead, Shannon.
My place of work. Here it is. Here we go. In my place of work, I started 2 years ago. How do you control hearing and seeing this? You mean spirits? How do you control hearing and seeing the spirits when they come to you? Is that what you're meaning? So
yeah.
she's
I'm a little confused.
so she here a while back. I think she says that no, that's Shannon. Let's see.
She said she went to no, that's Sandy. Sorry, their
Yeah.
S's are both purple. I keep getting them confused.
Let's see.
Is it seeing spirits, hearing spirits? Is it?
She said, okay, Sandy is an apprentice medium. So she said that a while back. So I'm assuming she's. So what do you do when? How do you control hearing and seeing spirits? But let's see. But wait, before I saw. Okay, I went into a black void, a dark place, and I realized that it was my fear creating this dark place. Then I called on God, and this light filled me, and we merged. See, it's. I really don't have much memory of what it was. I think I remember at one point seeing this woman came in. Her nickname was Chicago, and she was a dope addict. And she came in and he's dead, and she was screaming. And I remember hearing that and seeing that, but I was unconscious. Mm-hmm. It was like I was above my body, seeing and hearing all this.
You can still see and hear up until Probably 5 to 10 minutes after death, you can still see and hear what's going on around you.
You know, we were kind of like taught that in like nursing school, like for postmortem care, like sometimes when we're going in right afterwards to like, you know, clean the person up and those types of things. Some of us nurses like will still talk to them as we are like doing things. For me, it helped with my anxiety when I worked on the floor because I would have a hard time going in there, regardless if it was a hospice, like a peaceful death, or if it was something sudden or, you know, tragic. We would still like talk to them while we were cleaning them up, as, you know, I don't know how morbid that may sound, but you know, you just still try to be extremely respectful is what we were taught.
Well, not to mention the one time the one person popped back to life. Remember that one? I can't go into detail because this is a documented story, but one of them one time was noted basically noted as passing away at a certain time. Like 35 minutes later, she comes back to life. I mean, that doesn't always happen, but I've heard stuff like that happen. So, you know, so I mean, I guess that would be weird though. That would be sad that, you know, you're passed away, your body's literally done, and you can still hear what's going on, but you cannot respond. That would be so defeating and like just defeating and sad. You know what I mean? Like, what do you do? That would be the worst way for a send off, wanting to be able to say something and can't. You know?
Right. See, now the way, if I'm getting her question right, the way I shut it off is I let them know, okay, I'm shutting down. Tomorrow's another day. It's like a switch, but it takes time to learn how to shut them off because I can't always. If there are times where I really have to find or get to that person that they're looking for because they won't leave me alone. But other times I just shut it down like a light switch. Off it goes, and that's enough for tonight.
There you go, Drazo. I'm telling you right now, bro. You know, I talk to you every day. The amount of shit that moves in my house, I'm telling you, if it wasn't me, it was somebody else, most people would not be able to handle it. They would fucking run for the door. Guaranteed. Like it's almost too much at times. Like I said, when I'm editing, it feels like the room fills up, and I almost think it does. What do I say, Tab? How many times do I like kind of like irritates you because I want you to sit there while I'm editing? I don't want, it's hard to be alone and edit, guys. It is.
And it's only irritating because he has to really have like silence to edit. So he just literally wants me to sit there. I can't even chew a chip because the chip chewing is too loud. Like I can't watch TV. It's tedious. That's why I don't want to do it, because he really has to be able to hear and he does ask my opinion lots of times. You know, I'm kind of poking fun at it, kind of, because sometimes I'm really like, you edit and let me clean the house, but then I can't like vacuum or anything. So it's pointless. Because, you know, some of the voices come through like behind the white noise. It's like a whisper sometimes. And sometimes I think it's even probably hard, even when he puts the words up on the screen, for people to hear what's truly coming through if you were like sitting next to the recording. I mean, there are just whispers in the background.
If you don't hear it, guys, if you see the names pop up and you don't hear them, just go back, rewind it 15 seconds, and then hit play. And
but
then
sometimes we have complete opposite. We hear totally different things.
I'll hear a yes, she'll hear a no.
Even when editing, it's crazy. Like I will hear a completely different sentence and we'll kind of go back and forth. And then
we figure out that it's neither one, not even close. Like it takes it. But see, sometimes it takes, because this is what happens when you hear something. Have you guys ever been vacuuming and you think you hear the phone ringing? That's called audio matrixing. Okay, so there's white noise and stuff going on, and your brain tries to make sense of it. So it puts a phone, you hear a phone ringing, or you think you hear like somebody talking, and it's just barely audible. You can't make out what they're saying, but you can hear a voice. That's your brain trying to make sense out of it. So when it's a voice that's not real clear, my brain says it's one thing, her brain says it's another thing. And sometimes it just takes listening to it a few times. Now, don't forget, they're bending frequencies, radio frequencies. So sometimes it won't sound like their voice. It'll warp. It'll sound like a woman's voice, and it'll warp it to like a deeper voice. Or so it's they're bending frequencies. So it might not always sound exactly like you think. So you have to listen to it phonetically. So it can be time consuming, but you basically your ears are like a fine-tuned instrument, and you get used to it. You basically you get fine-tuned and better at hearing and distinguishing the voices.
Right. Can you get rid of a gift if you don't want it? Unfortunately for me, no. The only you really can't get rid of the gift. It's just up to you what you do with it. You can choose not to use it, but you can't get rid of it.
Yeah, I guess it's like you can't turn your hearing off, right?
No.
So
See, I can't. But I've been doing this. I'm going to date myself here a little bit. I'm in my 50s, and I've been able to do this for as long as I can remember. And I can remember doing shit at 3 years old. So
that's crazy. I mean, I've seen many shows where some people are just more open to that, and I believe that that's just part of the brain that functions more for people than others. I mean, we only use a small percentage of our brain. Some people have a stronger functioning area of that part of the brain, and they're open to it. And you can actually strengthen your brain. It's like a muscle. You work it out, and you can develop those.
right. Good night.
Good night, Drazo. Yeah, it's
Yeah, there's no. I cannot. Even if I didn't want to, I can't.
there you go. See, exactly. Lisa Ann says it. You try to ignore it. I ignored my gift successfully, but it always finds a way to come back. Somehow, some way, they find a way to come through. I mean, they do with this too. It's nuts. There's no stopping them. You know, they got all the time in the world. We don't.
Exactly. So while we're here and there's messages that can be given and they know you can hear them, see them, feel them, whatever, it's going to get done. You can't get rid of that. I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break.
Okay, no problem. I mean, look, it would be kind of just like Patrick Swayze singing I'm Henry VIII I am, right? I mean, they can come and do that shit to you if they really wanted to. I mean, but really that's what they're doing in a way. You know, theoretically, that's what they're doing to me and Tab. You know, they're coming, they're in our house, they're moving shit around, they're making noise, they're coming through. They ask for help. The one thing that really made my heart melt, and I know Tab will agree with this, is that first thing that really kind of drew us to the Tottens was that there was 7 young children that passed there. 7. That's a lot of grief for, you know, a mother and father to deal with. Now they had 9 children, and I think there's a 10th because we keep hearing 10th, the 10th, but there's 9 documented. But those children come through, and those little tiny voices of these kids, like there's several of them that passed at 1 year and 11 months. So they're just shy of 2 years old, and their voices sound like that. They're like little angelic voices. Have you guys ever heard Code's little granddaughter, her sweet little voice? She's, hi. You ever heard that? It's heart melting. That's what we get from them. And that's what really, I can't get enough of it. But We had one of the, like I left that, when I left the digital recorder out on the back porch for Ray, I wanted Ray to give me his message, but I think he did on the session. He wanted a visit. He wanted to say hello and get a visit. He said it, visit. So I left the recorder out anyway, in case he had more of a message. Well, Ray didn't come through. A little Totten did. It's a little tiny girl. She says, Totten, help.
It's so cute. And to answer OG Mike's question, we have not found out what happened to them yet, but we are working on that. We actually have reached out to the Historical Society. I know we shared that on here before. They really suggested to use like Ancestry.
Yes.
And so that's what we're doing. And we've actually found out some information. Lynn, looked like you were going to say something. Go right ahead.
I feel with them, I feel fire. I keep saying it. I've been saying it for a while. I feel fire around that family.
Yes. Yep. You have been saying that.
And we got burned me, or burned me. We've received that.
And they do keep saying help also. We heard help. Samuel came through. So that'll be coming up. We'll be sharing that. And he specifically asked. Yeah.
That could be the reason that they're asking for help, that, you know, they remember being in the fire, you know what I mean? So maybe
I feel fire, and I've been saying that since I heard the name.
Yep, you absolutely have.
We're going to find out. And we're going to find a fire. I can already tell you. I mean, I've learned not to question it anymore. I don't.
I trust you and Lynn.
I don't question it anymore, guys. It is what it is. You know, they come through and they give you the information. It's that simple. You know, it's still spectacular and amazing. Don't get me wrong. It never stops amazing me. But they do it, man. They do.
Amen, Mike.
Now, Lynn, do you think, like, I know a lot of people have asked, and then some of our family that we've been sharing this with, really worry about, like, I always say how sweet the children sound. Like, so they are always like, be careful. It might not be a child, or,
that is truth. Now, anything that's negative can manipulate the voice of a child, but I don't feel that's the case here.
No.
Okay, good to hear that from you then. Okay.
Yeah.
No, because there's nothing to be gained. There's nothing to be gained. You know, they come through, they say hello, they say hi, Tottens, and that's it. You know, like, we don't have that. There's nothing that they could be really.
Yeah, they're not negative, and yeah, I don't feel.
I don't get that vibe, like, from them. Because I'm just so drawn to them. So I feel like if they were, but I could necessarily, you know, I could be wrong, and maybe I'm reading them wrong, but I feel like I don't get that. My heart goes out to them for some reason. And I don't know if it's because, you know, I do feel like, well, they sound just so sweet, like a child, you know. So
I feel, and I said this to John the other day, I feel somewhere along the way there's some kind of connection with them, that you were so drawn to them. And it's not just from walking through the cemetery and seeing that they're babies or the little voices. There's some connection, lineage somewhere, something somewhere.
Ooh, and that makes me kind of excited.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Like,
yeah. What's this question? I have one.
Let's see. I have what's called precognitive dreams. I dream of people I know that will have an accident and pass away. It scares me. I lost friends because of letting them know, and it happened. So yeah, it's that would be a hell of a thing to have to be saddled with, you know, to
Absolutely.
know.
I can't imagine that.
I'm the worst on a car trip, and we've discussed this before too. Getting in a car and going on a long trip on an interstate, I have to medicate myself literally, because I am a basket case. With cars that come and go back and forth on each side, I know who's making it to their destination and who was not.
Wow. Oh, wow.
That just gave me the chills.
It's horrible.
I feel like Sorry, Lynn, go ahead.
No, go ahead, honey.
I was just going to say, I feel like I can't imagine that for you. And I would definitely have to be medicated as well, because I think a lot of my anxiety is no longer the crossing over. I think I would be at peace with that. And I think a lot of that has to do with my nursing. Any anxiety that I have is like what John said earlier, like the unknown, not knowing how or when. And I wouldn't necessarily want to either, because that would give me just as much anxiety. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Sure.
yeah, definitely. Because when I see these people, it's like I can't hang my head out the window and scream, pull over, get off the road. You can't do that.
Right.
So it's horrible.
I can't imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the dreams, I've had some of those dreams too. I've had instances where, and this has happened more than once, but one specific instance where I was at this place in Nevada. It was actually a rehab facility, the same one that my pal up here was in. And this guy showed up, dead ringer for my friend Frank. I mean, the spitting image of my friend Frank. I tell him this. This guy shows up. It's like 7 p.m. He's getting checked in and all that. And I'm saying hello to him, talking, shooting the shit. And it's shocking how much this guy looks like Frank. The next morning, I'm waiting to see him, because I don't think I did tell him how much he looked like Frank. I just kept looking at him. I'm waiting for him to show up, because the big place we were staying at, we were all at different little houses, and we show up to the main facility during the day, and he had left in the middle of the night. So I'm telling Tab about this, how much this guy looks like Frank. And she tells me, well, that's funny that you're saying that, because we just found out yesterday that Frank passed away.
They will come. And that's the thing, is they will come to you as a last goodbye. And if you see somebody that looks like, as a matter of fact, I see a guy around town here that looks just like my dad. And I know my dad is gone 10 years.
Right.
But the thing is when you see somebody that looks exactly like somebody else, it means they are with you at that moment.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So that's with you seeing him, or the guy that looked like him, that was his last goodbye to you.
And I just realized, Tab, I didn't tell you this, and I just thought about this. Maybe it was this morning or last night. We've caught Frank, the name Frank, several times here recently.
I remember that.
I don't know if it's our friend Frank, but it's just interesting that, there's a few names that I want to ask if their last name is such and such, because I have a couple of revisiting people that I.
Good night, Ice.
Good night. Thank
Kathy.
you.
Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you. I've really enjoyed myself this, and we're only going to be on maybe another 5-10 minutes, because it's been almost 2 hours. But these shows are to share with you guys our journey, and for you guys to come in and ask questions, and we help each other. You all share your stories with us. We share ours with y'all, and we learn things as we go along. Mm-hmm. Life is a journey. That's it. It's not a destination. It's a journey. We're all constantly learning. We never stop learning. I think that continues on the other side. We continue learning forever. So, yeah, this is a great chat, Sess. I agree. Some dude who claims to be an audio expert and had his house haunted. He claims that it's all tricks done with antennas or weird signals. It's not, bro. It's not. Because I'm going to tell you right now, because nobody in Ohio knew that my Nana had passed. Nobody reached out. Nobody called us, and she came through, and then I Googled it. Some dude with an antenna and a walkie-talkie has that information, and I don't. There's no way, bro. There's
Not
no
to
way.
mention, we'll just find a random grave and say a name, Prickett, and then cricket comes through. So that just can't be a radio signal at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like that's saying the exact name of the exact person that we're standing by.
I'll do you one better than that. When you guys listen to my next video, you listen to the guy saying "pow," and you listen to the guy in the car saying "come back," and you hear their voices. There ain't no spirit box going, guys. These are EVPs. These are people talking without a body right next to me. That's what's taking place. There's no antennas, making a voice show up on the recording that I didn't hear
No.
years in the car. That's impossible. It would not happen, could not happen. And it's just, it's.
Listen to the evidence. Here's the thing, and I'm going to butt in here for a minute. Sorry, John.
No, go ahead.
Listen to the evidence. There are intelligent answers that are coming through that you cannot get from an antenna. And if you're paying attention, the mouth is not moving and giving what's coming from the voice box. It's okay to be skeptic. Everybody's going to believe what they want to believe. But at the end of the day, John, if you are helping people and you are doing what you feel is right, that's all that matters. Haters are going to hate.
Oh, Lynn she's going to be a returning guest. She's one of my good friends. Like I think she enjoys the chats and she's always welcome.
I love doing this. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, this is fun.
It is fun.
Yeah,
you,
guys, there's
appreciate all your help.
What happened?
What'd you say, Tab?
Oh, I was just thanking Lynn and just saying we love having her on and we appreciate all of her help on and off screen. So she.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate being on with you guys. Sharing is caring, guys.
And it can pull. They can pull. Yeah, but okay. I'm going to agree with you on some of that, Mike. Now, here's some more holes I can punch in that theory. Now, there are times when I ask for people to come through. I don't hear it, but they've already come through. There's times when I start to ask a question and the answer comes out before I'm done asking the question. There's times when I ask the question and they are saying it simultaneously. Now, I would have to be in cahoots with the person with the antenna to do that. I would have to give them the questions and say at 8:03 p.m. in 41 seconds, I'm going to say, is there anybody here by the name of such and such? And you got to say it exactly at the same time. And they say it so simultaneously. It's no way. No freaking way. Could not happen. Would not happen. It's just, but yes, if you wouldn't know any better, somebody with an antenna could be giving answers back from a remote location. Yes, they could do that. Yeah, you could certainly fake evidence, and shame on people that do that.
Which is part of the reason I decided to start being on camera more, because we know that that's been said a little bit in the background also. So that way you could see both of us. I know it doesn't completely give everybody 100% trust, but I'm with Lynn. We're here to help and we enjoy doing it. So, we'll keep doing what we're doing and you could be along for the ride and, and have faith in what we do. Or, you could be a skeptic and that's fine too, to each their own. That's my personal opinion.
Absolutely.
I've gotten a couple of skeptics that we've turned around.
Yes, we have. Yeah.
One we did tonight, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. I mean, I like that, guys, because I'm a skeptic.
I'm a skeptic and I'm a reader.
Because you have to be, guys. You have to always question the authenticity of everything. You have to. You have to think for
There are
yourself.
shady people out there. There are crooked people out there. Absolutely.
Let's see. I was told by my mother she had dreams from a dead relative 20 years ago that I would be hurt and not to leave the house. I didn't listen and almost got killed. But yes, they do. They know. They do. it's strangely that there's a timeline of life, I think, and they're privy to that because they're plugged into it. We're not. Well, I mean, we are, but we can't just. Not all of us can tap into that knowledge and know what's coming, whereas they can. You know, it's would they intervene? So I guess some of them would. Are they allowed to intervene? Like if they know your death date, are they allowed to tell you?
No. No. It's they will intervene for protection, absolutely. But if it's your time to go, they will not. Absolutely not. It's like that saying, "Never drive faster than your angels can fly."
Quantum physics. Yes, Thornblades. That is the thing. I approach this from a scientific perspective. You know, like that's because when you're looking to prove something, you have to like be able to observe something, prove it, and to be able to observe it and repeat that. Okay, that's how you prove something. That's how something becomes a science, a law, a truth. That you're able to show somebody this data and reproduce it over and over again. Say this is how it works. Watch, and you can reproduce it. That's what we're trying to do here. You know, and we've been able to do that. I'm telling you, man. Kudos to Gary Galka, man. That man is a smart man, and you have to think about this. He lost his daughter in a tragic car accident. And now the devices that he makes has helped so many people that have lost family members. And that's because of Mel, the Mel meter and the spirit boxes and the APF processor and all the devices that he creates literally puts us in contact with that world. It's truly amazing. I can't get enough of it. But yes, it's all something that I've been able. This is the reason why we go back to the same cemeteries. But at first, we thought we had to go back to the same cemeteries to speak to the same people. No. We've learned that's no longer that's not the case. So see where I'm trying.
Lynn helped us with that.
A law, a truth in the universe. And what I learned is what I thought was truth is not truth. It's a little bit different. So that's what we're doing. That's why we're repeating these same investigations at the same places over and over again. You know, I'm showing you, look, these people are coming through again and again, but they're coming from another cemetery. So they can come through anywhere. I'm trying to show that.
But you can do it in your living room. Here's the thing though, too, is you can do a session in your living room and the same people are going to come in. You don't have to, and I've said this a million times, I think, to you already. You don't have to be in any cemetery to pick them up. And if you're sitting in your living room and you're picking them up, doesn't necessarily mean they are in your living room. Now, when Negative Nelly was around, yes, she was there. And I told you she was there.
Yes. Yep. I could feel that.
So I guess I feel, Lynn, like if we do it in our home, I now know as of tonight that like you said, that doesn't mean they're in my home. I just feel like it's inviting people into my home. So I do.
No, and I totally respect that.
But is that
totally
correct?
Respect that, and I would feel the same way. Mm-hmm.
Should I feel that way? Like, is that how it would work, or it could happen this way, or?
It could happen, but before you do your session, you have to set your boundaries. You have to be strong and you have to be firm with those boundaries. And you have to let them know that this is not an invitation to enter my home.
Okay.
But the frustrating part though is that there is still times where they come anyway, you know, and so you're doing this. If you're in this type of line of work, if you want to call it that, or hobby, or this is your passion, you got to be prepared for that. That's the price of admission. You have to be prepared for that. You're going to get more than you bargained for. Whether you think you're prepared for it or not, you're not prepared for it. You're going to get more than you bargained for. The
And
end.
you got to be careful with doing it because, you know, you picked up negativity.
Yeah.
That took a toll on you. That
Oh
sucked your
yeah.
energy like nobody's business. If you don't know what you're doing, do not pick up a box and try it.
Yeah.
Here is a
It
question for you, Lynn. Somebody says, or sorry, Boomer Babe 66 says, I haven't heard or felt my mom and dad for a while now. Does that mean they've moved on?
um I believe okay, let me see if I can tap real quick. They have moved on and they are together, but they do still come around.
You have to understand. And
Just because, sorry, John, didn't
yep,
mean to
go ahead.
cut you off. They basically saying just because you cannot see us doesn't mean we are not there.
It's they know, guys. They know that we got nothing to worry about. They know that. They know that we're going to eventually end up where they are. Do they have to worry about us? Not really. Do they want to
No.
see our progress and milestones and things? I think they do. But do they, when they don't come around, I don't think they really have to be concerned because they know that we have literally infinite time.
Right.
Infinite time.
Everything is good. It's when they really are hovering. And I know this from experience with my parents. My dad will come in smelling like cigarette smoke. It's gross. But I smell him when I know my dad's coming in with the strong smell of a cigarette. I know it's bad.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
know it's bad. And 99.999% of the time, something happens that's bad.
Really? I've caught
Yes.
whiffs of my mom before, just like a perfume she would wear. I'll just be standing there, and it's a very distinctive smell, a very old perfume, like
Mhm.
mixed with, just like her natural scent. It,
It's a
it was a very
spray she
distinctive
got
smell.
from it's a spray she got from an African store, an African stand, and it's a very distinct, pungent, spray. It's like
Yeah,
an
like it
oil
works with your
spray.
pheromones. So it was like
Yes,
distinct to her. I never smelled it anywhere else, basically, is what I'm trying to share.
yes,
And
yes.
I'll be standing there doing the dishes or something. Very rarely. She passed away in 2017, and it's only happened probably less than a handful of times, but it's happened. I've caught the smell and been.
And that's her way of letting you know that she is with you. Now, if she comes through with another scent or that scent times 20, beware.
Like a warning.
It's a warning. Like my dad with the cigarette, if it's just the cigarette, that's a beware. If he comes in smelling like his cigarette and cologne, I know that's just him coming to say, hey, I'm here.
That's good to know. That's very interesting.
No, let's see. Thornblade says, once I thought spirits surround our environment, but we can't always see them with our limited perceptions, and you can fine tune your intuitions after many experiences. Well, yeah, I mean, one thing that I like really was cool for me doing what I do now is that I've had some very profound experiences over my lifetime. One of the biggest, craziest experience was with my brother that passed, and we saw a full-bodied apparition look like a living person. Now I know that those things are like, because they happen, but then as time goes on, I think a lot of y'all can agree, this happens to everybody. You have what you feel is a paranormal experience, or you see a shadow figure or something, and you're sure as the sky is blue that it happened. But then as time goes on, it's like, did that really happen, or am I fucking crazy? You start to second guess yourself. But now I know that they all happened and then some. So it's like, I don't know. I'm very passionate about it, guys. I can't shut up about it. I'm sorry. Let's see, Johnny, a lot of this, I believe, can be technological, like how CERN says they opened portals. Also, a lot of seems negative, which is why I mentioned the priest. Yeah, so I watch a few. So I have Blake Isaacs. He's another guy that you've seen him in the chat. He does what I do. He goes to cemeteries and does the spirit box. He doesn't seem to catch the threats that I catch. And then Lunar Paranormal, that's another channel. She does what we do, and she does not get the nastiness. I get some really nasty, threatening individuals, and the way I see it is that you got to take the good with the bad. You just don't acknowledge it. I don't acknowledge certain people on YouTube. You all
Don't
know,
give them what they want.
same thing. In the Texas, I was actually attacked with my mom's. Wow. So were you scratched or touched? I've never been scratched or hurt or bitten or anything like that, but I have been touched. I have felt that. I've felt pokes and hands on me, things like that. I felt this type of shit.
Or
they
like
take your hair.
literally been ran out, ran out of the cemetery, like literally.
Oh, this isn't nicotine. This is cannabis.
It is. We have been on for 2 hours, though, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, Lynn.
For example, like a click sound when walking around the house. Yes, click sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very often. We get a lot of sounds. One thing that really kind of unnerved me the first time it happened was I was sitting in my living room. You guys have seen my living room because I used to stream from my living room. My office is now upstairs. But I heard Totten from what sounded like John Totten, the patriarch of the family, who I've caught many times talking. It sounded like his voice saying Totten.
Disembodied voice.
Oh, what's that?
Was it a disembodied voice?
Yes. No spirit box. I literally heard it. I was watching TV. It said Totten. I was watching TV. I hear Totten coming from next to me out loud. I mean, she's heard what's a male's voice in our house, which was not me because I was not home. So like now I'm getting disembodied voices. I'm getting a lot of these EVPs without the spirit box. It seems like the more I do this, the more they come through and the clearer they come through. So we'll see what we get in the future, guys.
It's fun. That's for
Trans-Allegheny. Well, that's one where you're going to encounter a lot of spirits, and they're not all going to be good. Some of them are crazy, though. It's a lunatic asylum. So you're going to have people that have passed, don't know that they've passed, and they're crazy. You know, like there's people
Some
that
can be dangerous. So you have to be careful.
Yep. Something like that, I would definitely be armed with every type of protection you could possibly come up with. You know, so the threats come through. And I have Steve, and he tells me that I'm safe. So you hear him on this last one, and it's right before we leave. He says, Steve-O, friend, leave. He's saying, this is your friend, Steve-O. Leave. Get out of here. It's time to go. He does.
They will warn you. Yeah.
He warns me. I don't always hear it.
Occasionally we could hear it like loud and clear, and we never push it when we're asked to go or leave, or we start just feeling like the energy has shifted. We respect that and go, so.
But your threats and your negativity came from a racist individual.
With her kids, with her,
two of her kids.
Yep. And
because that's how those kids were taught. So they think that her way is the right way. You only know what you've been taught.
Okay.
And they don't threaten her.
No, they only threaten you. Right.
Yep. Yep.
What's this
It's
one?
funny. They got busted out. They got told on. And she doesn't come through anymore. So we'll see what happens.
Right.
You know, I mean, I asked Lynn. I said, I asked her. Remember, I said, is there any way I can smother her with love and say, look, I forgive you. You know, you know,
It wouldn't make a difference.
that's because I was going
Wouldn't
to
make
try.
a difference. The best thing that you could do in that situation is ignore her completely, like she does not exist. You found out who she was, you Googled it, you know her background, you've ignored her, and she's no longer coming.
Yep. Yep. Which is good
Which is
because
exactly what
Because
we
she
do.
couldn't intimidate you.
she doesn't intimidate me at all.
No, no. And that's the thing, is everything that she had tried wasn't working.
Right.
Finally, somebody up there is like, okay, you know what? I've had enough of your shit. Here you go. This is who's doing this.
And they told me, I said, who is that person? Who is it? And they said the person threatening. And they said the first and last name.
Last name.
Yep.
Hmm.
And
And
there's
I
a few
told
of
you,
them.
Google her.
There's a few of those persons with that last name, but I found one that has a direct connection to people that in our
And
family.
she looks mean.
Oh, yes. You guys would see this picture. You guys think, man, I don't want to run into her. She's mean mugging in this picture. It's her obituary picture. She looks like she's ready to murder somebody. Like that's. So, I mean, I thought maybe I could try to say, hey, you know, I'm not a bad person. You know, all I want is good things for you too. And it just don't matter.
She doesn't care. She's so negative and nasty, she doesn't care. What's this Sandy said?
Once I had an energy ball / orb come into my bedroom. Can you guys help me to see who it was? I've seen one of those before.
I'm getting a grandfather figure.
Hmm.
Is your grandfather on the other side?
Yeah, I mean, those balls of energy, when you see them, I've seen one of those. And it was about the size of a soccer ball. And what it looked like was, have you guys ever seen like above a grill that's hot and you can see
Yes.
heat waves? It looked like a ball of heat wave, kind of like
Right.
undulating around my dining room. And this was at not where I live now. It was another place. My dog, who's now passed, that I love very much and miss very much, she noticed it first and was looking at it and barking at it. And I caught it. And then my wife, I was pointing it out to her, and it was literally floating around in the air, about 6 feet in the air, doing this shit. And then all of a sudden, whoosh, it just whizzed away and was gone. So I've
Right.
seen one of those once. Amazing.
Sandy, yours is a grandfather figure. And I feel the grandfather figure is on your mom's side.
A damn bridge video. There's been many times I have had it to my big girl panties on once. Yeah, well, you know, I know, Sweaty, we've had a lot of conversations about personal things and losses and things. And I really feel like, yeah, moving, like I know you were hesitant about moving and going to a different place because and I get it. I would be worried if my family would be left behind, if their spirits would be left behind to linger in that house and not come with you. They come with you.
They
Trust
come
and
with you.
believe. They come
Honey,
with you.
you can go to Timbuktu and they're going to follow you.
Yep. Yep. I mean, you can see the Tottens come through everywhere I go. Steve he goes with me everywhere. So it's just another example of that. I mean, they're not an exception to the rule. They're the rule.
Yeah.
So, okay, guys. Oh, let's see. Snark.
Yep. Grandfather passed. It's a grandfather figure.
I feel it. Okay, Snark. I get this all the time too. And I have lost cats and I've lost dogs. I believe that's what it is. I can take
Spirit
this.
animal, yes.
yes, that is, I believe that is one of your pets hopping up on the bed. I get that all the time, Snurf.
Yes,
All the time.
that's a spirit animal.
I love it, man, because I miss them very much.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you know, I caught an orb too, White Mike, on our not an orb, but you can see a concentrative energy whiz by, and smoke don't move that fast. You know, it's
Actually, in one of your sessions, there is an orb.
oh yeah, oh yes, I have caught orbs. That's right, I have,
Yeah.
I have. Some of them I've highlighted, some of them I've missed. But that's a you know I don't even want to talk about that dude. That dude's such a clown anyway, man. Like really, if he knew what was good for him, he'd knock off the bullshit that he's doing on here and realize what's truly important and stop the nonsense and
Who's
attacking
that?
people's families. Because families are
Leave
sacred.
that one alone, John.
Huh?
Leave that one alone.
All right, yeah, I'll leave it alone.
Okay.
Families
Who are
are
we
the most.
talking about?
A comment John read in the chat.
A very negative person that is very hateful, a very hateful being in this in the YouTube realm.
Same field, same work field.
The only reason he went to do a ghost hunt is because I do this. Everybody's
it was with
doing
his previous experience, Lynn, on here. So
yeah. Everybody wants to one up me or insult me.
Again,
do what I
at the end
do.
of the day, John, haters are going to hate. Jealousy is a sickness. Get well soon, my friend.
Thank you. Guess what I said, guys? I have no more time for the hatred and the bullshit. Like y'all seen, you guys have seen, I've subtracted myself and stayed gone. There will no be re-entering that crap. There will be no more of that. I'm not going to do it.
Don't even address it.
That's
I
it.
wouldn't even worry about it. It's,
you want to do
all for clout.
one more question to end on a positive note?
Absolutely. Can White Mike's re-blessing his house? Can I go back? Let's see. Blessing the house. Where's the question?
Let me see if I can go back and find
Yeah, I think we all missed that one.
I've been sorry. I'm bad about that, bro. I never seen orbs. Only the thing was shadow shapes. I don't feel. Let's see. I never seen orbs. Only thing was shadow shapes, which I see a lot, Mike. A lot. I don't feel is a positive presence, but more negative. Well, I can disagree there because sometimes the shadows are just how they manifest. It doesn't necessarily mean it's negative, but I guess it could be. Should I bless the house?
Bless anyways. I would still do. You could do a blessing. I've told you different ways how to bless your home if you want to share with him as well. But do your smudging. And one thing that's good that I do in my home is I take fresh sage and I boil it, let it cool, put it in a spray bottle, and put the leaves in that bottle with it. Take a clean cloth and spray everything down with the sage water and wipe it clean.
Yep, it's tedious. It's a tedious process, but
it works.
worth it. Yeah,
he wants to know: do you need a priest, Lynn?
Well, we didn't use a priest. I mean, I guess you could.
No, I didn't use a priest.
Yeah, that's
I do my own cleansings.
I mean, people have their houses blessed and things. I see. I need to go have my religious medallion blessed.
Yeah,
that I need to do. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with having your house blessed by
however
a priest.
You're comfortable. Exactly. Yep. Whatever makes you feel comfortable and makes you feel safe. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a personal thing, guys. It's all personal to you. What works for you? What is your preference? There's no right or wrong. You are very
welcome, honey.
There's no right or wrong way, guys. It's whatever is your preference to your liking. It's just it's your intention. Absolutely. And that makes the difference.
And that's what we want here. Good intentions. A safe environment to help, really. So Potato says, I just want to say thank you, Lynn, for giving me that message from my Russell family member. And thanks to Mr. and Mrs. Mack for a great stream.
You're very welcome. And you guys are always welcome.
Absolutely, very, very welcome.
I enjoy
Thanks.
very much sharing this with you guys and having Lynn on, because I know how much you guys value this stuff, and it's helping this this channel's helped more people in the 3 months I've had it than all the other channels combined and all the time I've had them. That's
the goal at the end of the day. Is I enjoy being on the show because I know a lot of people have a lot of questions and and that little bit of closure sometimes is what they need. Oh, all the time is what they need, is that little bit of closure, but to let them know that their loved ones are still there.
That's it. That's it.
Yep.
We're excited to let everybody grow with us, and just excited for the future, really.
Absolutely.
And we will be traveling. And look, we're going to be traveling around. You know, like we get around. We love traveling. So I mean, if you guys ever want to say, hey, if you're ever in this area, you know, and you want to investigate with us or something like that, we're open.
I'm down. Hello.
There you go. Well, you already know that's a given. That's going to take place. But I'm just saying, like, that, especially the skeptics, if you think that you want to see for yourself, come on out. Come on out. You know, it's a blast. It's a good time. So, guys, thank you for joining us and hanging out. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome,
Smash
Boomer.
that like button if you haven't already. And I'm going to repost her email on my community.
Absolutely. Reach out, guys.
Yep. Reach out. Don't hesitate. Don't worry about, you know, feeling silly or feeling stupid or, you know, or anything.
The only stupid question is the one that's not asked.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Everyone have a great night.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all
Good night,
later.
guys.
Have a great night.
Thanks.